Hello and welcome. Good evening, everybody, to this presentation Tuesday evening here in Germany. Welcome, everybody from around the world. My name is Claudia Eifert, and I have with me the founder and CEO of Utopian Global, who's gonna walk through the presentation today for you. I'm really excited because we don't get him all that often to do the whole presentation, but tonight he does. So I'm really happy that he's here actually and be able to do that. Bill, welcome to the call today. How are you in Germany?
Hi Claudia, I'm great, thank you. Welcome to everyone joining us in different parts of the world. I've been in Switzerland, I'm now just across the border in Germany. I'll be back in Switzerland at the end of the week, and then later in the month back into Dubai. So lots happening, but I hope everyone's safe and well. And looking forward to our presentation tonight. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, Claudia. You told me I needed to get some practice, so you pushed this upon me. So I'm grateful for that. But at the end of the presentation, of course, all of you, you're welcome to ask very direct questions in your chat box there, and Claudia will ask me at the end of the presentation. So back over to you, Claudia.
Yes, correct. So very quick intro, and I hope you all have your pen and paper ready, because especially for the new people, there's quite some information when you hear for the first time, of course, the presentation. So don't get overwhelmed, don't get scared whatsoever about the information you're going to see today. We have been, of course, building this business since 2008. So this is when the launch was. Now myself, I got involved basically at this time a little bit earlier, when it was still in the planning stage. Why? Well, because people are struggling. They've been struggling, the last 10, 15 years and 20 years. In fact, there's always people, of course, struggling, working very hard. And for me, when I was introduced into this concept back then, I was working 2 jobs, very hard. I had literally no time at all, and was constantly in this red race, trying to, have a better living, trying to have a better lifestyle, trying to make more money, put money aside. But somehow I was really trapped. I didn't understood money. I had no clue. I had no understanding what gold is, what precious metals is, what are investments, how do I invest, how do I do leverage, how do I get returns. Like I didn't have this education. I was a botanist educated. So when I was introduced to this information by Bill, of course, and Philip Jajdi, back then co-founder of the company when it originally started, I really was impressed. I was intrigued. I was like, wow, really such an eye-opener for me. And I knew I had to do it. I knew I had to get onto this train. I knew there was no other choice, because what was there? And so I'm really glad that I embarked on this journey, because see, over the last 13 years, obviously we have built a team over 139 countries, customers, people, affiliates, building this business in many countries, and I can tell you it has been quite a ride. It's not always easy, but it has been a very great ride, because the things I learned, the transformation I did personally, in development myself personally, but also in, of course, wealth accumulation. I couldn't have done this being stuck at my job. And so I'm really grateful that Bill introduced me to this great opportunity, and I learned a lot from him. And so I want you guys now to really listen carefully to Bill, because as I said, like, if it changed my life, it can definitely change your life. So Bill, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much, Claudia. Well, actually, it didn't change your life. You changed your life. You said you were a botanist, and that's true. You were a botanist, so you know how to sow seeds. The thing is, you chose to sow different seeds. That's how you changed your life. Now, on this particular presentation, we're going to teach you how to sow some real seeds of prosperity, but only you can sow them. We can give you the bag of seeds, and in particular, I want you to listen to 3 steps. There's going to be step 1, step 2, and step 3. It's a very simple complex. Now, we're going to speak about real assets. We're going to speak about income. We're going to speak about where we are in the world today. But just when we get to these 3 steps, I want you to focus there on these particular 3 simple steps, because they are the ones, just like Claudia changed her life, through sowing seeds. These are the seeds that she sowed to be able to harvest her lifestyle today. And this is what we want you to be able to do as well. And at the end of the presentation, you can ask many questions. As Claudia said, this company I've been running, we founded it in 2008, over 100. I just realized I'm muted, talking to myself then. Can you hear me now, Claudia?
No, you were not muted. You were not muted. You were actually there. It was just for 1 second.
Oh, so you heard everything? I just saw the
Yes.
button said I was muted.
No.
Okay. You probably muted me. Okay. Okay, so let me get my brain thought back here now. Okay, so we've been around since 2008, entering into our 13th year, which is absolutely fantastic. So we've been serving members across the globe in the area of precious metals and, of course, income since that.
Now you muted yourself. You muted yourself again.
You know what? I push a button and it does it itself. I've got to change. I won't push the button anymore. It's me. I apologize, Claudia, for accusing you. Okay. Let me go to me. Okay, here you can see me with a picture. This goes back to about 2008, 2009. This is at the Argel Horias refinery, which is a London bullion market refinery in Switzerland. I'm just going to give you a bit of an overall picture because, many of you people on the call here are here for the very first time. And therefore, you want to know, okay, who is the CEO of this company? What's his history? Where does he come from? What's he done? So I'm from Melbourne, Australia, raised on a dairy farm from a large family, brought up with the ethics of hard work. We had 70 cows, so we had to, as kids, we had to work on the farm. We didn't like it, but we did what we had to do. But we had a very simple life, but we had everything that we actually needed. But one thing I didn't have was financial education. But I realized very early, in fact, in 1986, I realized that I wanted to change my life. Actually, it was early that, but I realized if I wanted to change my life, I had to change the way I was going to earn my income. In 1986, I bought my first business. So I've been a self-employed, in one sense, entrepreneur businessman since 1986, which is now over 30 years, which is fantastic. But Utopian Global is really a very simple concept. We're going to speak about gold and silver, that it's real wealth, and why gold and silver. We're going to speak about STORH income producing real assets, why we need to have diversified assets. We're going to speak about our affiliate platform, which is global, seamless, and income. We need to generate more cash flow. And I'm sure many of you this year, 2020, many of us have been caught out around the world unexpectedly with this COVID-19. Many people caught without savings. So this is all about bringing you into where you are at the moment, not judging where you are. You want to realize where you are, take a good look in the mirror, and start to work out a plan how you can really change your life for the better as we move forward. But the world right now, what are some of the challenges most people are facing today? Well, there's no question about it. There's no money. People have very little savings and high debt, credit card debt, mortgage debt, car loan debt, student loans. If you're in the US and some parts of the world where education you pay for, like here in Germany, I think even in Switzerland, university education is paid for. It's part of the great system that they have here. Many other parts of the world, like Australia and of course the US, and I suppose other parts of North America, students are put into hundreds of thousands of debt before they even get their first job. So no savings, have no assets. They do have some assets. Sometimes they're the wrong assets in the wrong cycle, which is also not good. I've been caught there a few times over the last 30 years. And they live paycheck to paycheck. In fact, it's said that a lot of people have experienced in 2020 because of this COVID situation are only 1 or 2, maybe 3 paychecks away. If they didn't receive those paychecks, 1 or 2 paychecks, they're only 1 or 2 paychecks away from being bankrupt, from being broke. And that's very, very, very sad. Also, the way that we live is changing dramatically, of course. We're talking about robotic labor. I know Deutsche Bank put out an announcement last year. They'd laid off nearly 5,000 employees. And between now and the next, I think, 2 years, there's something like another 18,000 jobs will be going through robotic labor. And we see this in everyday life where people are being moved aside and mechanical and robots are coming in to do the work that we once did and once earned an income. So the world's in great change. The employment side of things for young people and even all people is not expanding, it's actually contracting. So we need to think outside the box regarding that as well. We need to understand the change that's going on in the world. We need to become part of that particular change. this is also, I realize this is really important one for me. I really like this particular concept. The ruling paradigm is to work 40 years to retire on a third of what wasn't even enough for those 40 years. Most people, let's say the age of 20, you get your job, you work 40 to 50 hours a week. You're going to do that for 40 years until you're 60, maybe 65, maybe even much older now, because governments have pushed back the retirement age because they don't have the funds to pay the pension. But let's say you do your 40 years, 50 hours a week. That's 100,000 hours of your time, of your life. You are trading, giving service in a profession, and you're earning an income. I want you to listen to this very clearly. You're earning an income, a currency, one, that wasn't enough to really give you a good lifestyle on for most people. And secondly, the currency you're getting paid in is losing value over time. These are the things that people face today. And the other thing is, of course, you know, would you really back your life on a government looking after someone on a good pension? I don't think so. I don't even worry about that. I am responsible with my own income and strategies, which I have to learn, of course. But pensions are good and retirement plans are good, but most pension plans don't give people the lifestyle that you actually want. From the time that you retire, most people's income is reduced by, you know, 2/3. You're living on only maybe 30% of the income that you were living on. So how can you maintain the same lifestyle? It's just not possible for most people. And in 1950, there was, let's just say there was 17 workers generating taxes, paying into a social system to support each retiree on a pension. Well, today there's less than 3, and between now and 2030, there's only going to be 2 workers producing taxes, paying into a social security system to support each retiree. This system is not sustainable. So if you're thinking, okay, I'm looking forward for the government to take care of me on my great pension, I'm sure you may get a pension, but I don't think it's going to be great. And even Professor John Chauvin from the Stanford University said it's not realistic to finance a 30-year retirement with 30 years of work, even 40 years of work. You cannot expect to put 10% of your income aside and then finance a retirement that's just as long. So what is your plan? What type of lifestyle would you like to have when you retire? Well, I don't think about retiring, but one thing I do want to do is when I've got time freedom, I like to travel. I like to have freedom of choice. If I want to do something, I can do it. I'm not limited by funds or by a pension that's limiting my ability maybe to visit family or different things in different parts of the world. That's how many, many people live. The other big thing is savers are penalized by negative interest rates. Now this is very, very big. Now, negative interest rates is where really you pay the bank to actually hold your money, even though it's not really cash they've got there, it's just a digit. But you're paying the bank to actually have the money in the bank. And we see here the Germans paid to borrow as negative interest rates reach consumers. We see here, okay, New Zealand's also looking at negative interest rates. Actually, Japan's been in negative interest rates pretty much for the last 20 years. And here's one on the EU, the euro. It says here, let's click this thing here. It says here, negative interest rates are becoming the new normal. This is August 2020. And so what that really means is you've been working for many years, building up your savings, hopefully. Those savings are in a bank. And for putting that money in the bank, in a deposit, the bank gives you a return, an interest rate that should give you a nice return. Now, a negative interest rate means you're getting zero return. That's really what it means. And I can go back to the late 80s, early 1990s, a different cycle. Things always go in cycles, but I can go back very clearly then in Australia. I was in business. I was in my second hotel. Overdraft rate was 21.5%. Housing borrowing loans were around about 17%. But a term deposit, if you put money in the bank as a retiree, you're getting 12, let's say 13% return on your money as a passive investment in the bank. Fantastic return, isn't it? Well, today you're getting less than 1%. Let's just look what these numbers actually mean to you. Actually, I think I've muted myself again. Nope.
No, you're good.
Okay, thank you. I pushed the wrong button again. Okay. So the rules of saving have dramatically changed. Now, I want to give you just a simple example here because many people don't really grasp this, and it's very important that you do get it. Now, To earn an extra $50, let me just grab 50 euros, it doesn't really matter. $50, 50 euros, 50 Australian dollars, Canadian dollars, shillings, it doesn't really matter. To earn an extra 50 per month at a 5% interest rate. Now, think about what interest rate you're getting in your country right now. It won't be much, if it's certainly North America and Europe. But at 5%, to earn an extra $50 a month, you'd have to have $12,000 or 12,000 euros in the bank just to give you an extra 50 per month. So you need that amount of capital to give you the 50. To earn an extra 600 per month, you need 150,000 in the bank at 5% to give you a $600 extra income per month. And $600 per month extra income can be a game changer for many people. Paying mortgages off, paying credit cards off. I mean, it's a big, if you've got a $600 pay rise, for many people, it's a huge win for them. And really, I want you to visualize earning an extra 10,000 per month because it's possible. And I'm going to show you in step 1, 2, and 3 how you're going to do that later. But at 5% return, you would have to have $2.4 million net asset value to give you that extra $10,000 per month in revenues. Now, negative interest rates, now we're not negative here, we're at 1%. I should say here USA, I should say Europe, many other parts of the world where interest rates are 1% or less. At 1%, just to get an extra $50 per month income, you need to have assets of $60,000. Quite significant, isn't it? Just for an extra $600 a year, or euros, you need to have $60,000 in equity giving you that, return. For an extra $600 a month, you need to have €750,000 euro or whatever it might be, dollars. And for $10,000 a month, you need to have 12 million invested. Well, if you had 12 million to invest, you probably don't have any worries whatsoever anyway. So I just wanted to point those numbers out because it's significant, the effect that negative interest rates is having on people. Therefore, you have to ask yourself, okay, if I can't save, where do I put my money? The answer is diversification. You still need to have money in the bank, of course, for liquidity, but you need to understand what money is and what it's actually doing to you. In fact, money is designed to work against you. In less than every 10 years, your currency is going to buy 50% of what was there. It doesn't matter whether it's euro. 150 euros today is worth 25 euros worth of buying power in 10 years' time, but here in 2030. US dollars is the same. Here's 100 Swiss francs, same deal. This 100 Swiss franc note will buy 50 francs worth of goods and services by 2030, which means you're trading your time. You're on a 40-year plan. You're trading 50 hours a week, getting paid in a currency that's losing value over time. We're getting older over those 40 years, and what they're paying us for our labour is losing value over time. This is what they call unjust weights and measures. This is stealing wealth from you. It's a transfer of wealth away from you. And even Professor John Maynard Keynes, the economist, we live under a Keynesian economic system. And I'm going to read this out because this is not conspiracy theory. This is what goes on. This is why people work all their lives. Families work all their lives. Grandparents work all their lives. And they never really get ahead in life because what you're working for is losing purchasing power over time. It says here, by a continuing process of inflation, governments can confiscate secretly and unobserved an important part of the wealth of their citizens. There's no subtler, no surer means of overturning the existing basis of society than to debauch the currency. This is what's happening in the world as we speak. The process engages all of the hidden forces of economic law on the side of destruction and does it in a manner which not one man or woman in a million is able to diagnose. Now, I didn't say that. This is from John Maynard Keynes, the famous British economist, and we live in a Keynesian economic system. So once you understand that saving in trading your time for your income, to trying to build wealth by holding onto your paper wealth is the wrong way to go, and then you have negative interest rates as well, you've got to start thinking, okay, what are the alternatives? What is the solution? And really, the answer is knowledge. The second is diversification, and thirdly, of course, in your assets, and thirdly, of course, is building up your cash flow. Really important. In fact, all of us should be doubling our income between now and 2025. Doubling your income. Whatever you're earning now, you should be doubling that in the next 3, 4, 5 years. Because if you're not, you're going backwards in prosperity in one sense. And ask yourself, when was the last time you got a pay rise of maybe 5%, 10%? or 50% or 100%. It just doesn't happen, does it? Okay, did I mute myself again? No. So in 2003, I think I mentioned earlier on, I've been in business since 1986. I owned 4 hotels over 20 years, sold the last hotel in 2003. And as a result of that, I went to Switzerland, to Zurich, Switzerland, where I met a bullion banker. Lady, I mentioned his name earlier on, Philip Judge. And as a result of that particular meeting, I wanted to do 2 things. I wanted to learn about precious metals, and I wanted to also learn about an energy fund that the bank was actually a CEO of. He introduced me to the world of gold, and he said, Bill, throughout history, rulers of empires, royalty, and the financial elite have always taken part of the paper wealth, this stuff, and converted it into gold. This is 1 troy ounce, 31.103 grams. It's 1 troy ounce. And he said, the reason is it's a store of value. He said, you can go back to Roman times, thousands of years ago, and it's recorded that 1 ounce of gold, pure gold, would actually clothe the person. In those times, it may have been a toga and a pair of leather sandals. He said in the 1920s, in the US, 1 ounce of gold was fixed at $20 US. So this greenback, a $20 note, would buy you 1 ounce of gold. But a $20 note would also buy you a fine 3-piece suit, shirt and tie, and leather shoes. I thought, that's interesting. And then he said, his question was to me, Bill, here we are in downtown Zurich. What could you do at $20 today? And I said, Philip, we just came having coffee and cake in downtown Zurich, and that cost us pretty much $20. Now today in Zurich, I was there last week, 3 cappuccinos is $20. But the same ounce of gold exchanged to any currency in the world is going to give you a fine 3-piece suit, shirt and tie, and leather shoes. In fact, this is about, let's just say it's around about $1,900 an ounce right now. It goes up and down in the exchange rate. Dollar's strong, gold, dollar's weaker, and gold goes up. But the big point is this preserves wealth over time. And I'll just make one more last point on this, because I really want you to get that. If we were to put this cash under a pillow and put this ounce of gold under a pillow, let's say it's $1,900 in cash I have here, and our 1 ounce of gold, we put that under our mattress, we come back at 2030, our 1,900 is going to buy 50% of what it will today, but my same ounce of gold will probably be worth then maybe $3,500, $4,000 in US dollars. So we still have the same purchasing power. That's the beauty of precious metals. That's why royalty, financial elite, always diversified their wealth into precious metals. Here's another example. We talk about medium home in the United States. In 1971, the home would cost you $25,000, or the equivalent in 1971 of 720 ounces of gold, because 1 ounce of gold in the 1970s wasn't $20 an ounce, it was $35 an ounce. So $25,000 for a medium-sized home, or 720 ounces of gold. Now in 2020, the same medium-sized home is around 11, 12 times more in price in US dollar terms. You're going to pay around $280,000 in currency, US dollars, to buy the same home compared to 1971. But if you've been diversifying your wealth, and wealthy people do, they generationally diversify their assets, and part of that is gold, you'd only need about 140, 150 ounces of gold to get to that same home in today's value. So this is really the lesson about wealth preservation. Now, Philip Judge, the banker, said to me in 2003, he said, Bill, gold may only be 3 to 5% of your portfolio. In fact, many experts believe today maybe it should be 10%. But the point I'm making, it's a small part of your liquidity. Whatever cash situation you're in, maybe you put 5 to 10% of that holding it in precious metals. You can see here gold's performance against the major currencies, euro for the last 20 years, euro, British pound, and US dollar. It's outperformed these 3 major currencies significantly. And you'll see that silver has also. Silver also is a store of value. It's been money for thousands of years. In fact, in the 1960s, a quarter, 25 cents, would actually buy you a gallon of gasoline in the 1960s. Just imagine that, 25 cents, you could buy a gallon of gasoline in the 1920s. In the 1920s, a quarter back then contained 5.6 grams of silver. Now today, since then, coins don't, even in Australia, we finished that in the 1960s as well. There's no silver, there's no precious metal kept in our sovereign coins anymore. That's gone. You know, certainly in the US as well. So to go and buy a gallon of gasoline today, you probably need, I'm just guessing, maybe $2.40, $2.50, depending on the oil price. But the same 5.6 grams of silver is still going to give you that gallon of gasoline. And you can see silver's performance here over the last 20 years against major currencies also. So hopefully you've got that picture of why gold, why silver, why it's good to diversify part of your paper wealth into precious metals. And we have a very simple system with Utopian Global that makes silver and gold savings very, very easy. In fact, you can start saving in precious metals from as little as 25 euros per month. That's less than a couple of dollars a day. It's a 7-day platform, although the orders are only placed at the London bullion market on trading days, of course, like Monday to Friday. Public holidays, we don't place the orders. The order would go over, carry across to the next day. We also have secure private vaulting. In fact, I put a video out, a small video out of a delivery that I took last week at the Loomis private vault in Zurich, Switzerland. Our gold's all produced, you can see it here on this particular one, at Argo Horizon refinery in Switzerland. There's only 5 refineries in the world, excuse me, which are London Bullion accredited to actually certify other producers, and this is one of them, okay? And you have your reports on a daily, monthly, and annual basis, so you're always up to date what your holding is. The great thing is it's highly liquid. If you've been, just like Claudia, she's a perfect example, actually. She's been involved with us for 12, going on 13 years. Every month when she gets her commissions, her income, she takes a part of that and she converts it directly into precious metals. So month after month, year after year, she's been turning paper wealth, part of it, into real assets such as gold and silver. The great thing is she's been price averaging year after year after year, preserving her wealth. But if she needs to liquidate some of her precious metals back to, of course, her currency, it's very simple. You log into your account, you say, I want to sell X number of grams or ounces of gold or X number of ounces or grams of silver. You push the button, it goes to the London bullion market trading the next trading day, whatever price it is. As an active member with Utopian Global, there's no fees charged. That's the price that you actually get. It's pushed to your e-wallet, and from there you can pay directly out to your nominated bank account or to, of course, your Bitcoin account. Now, all of our members, you must be all KYC AML, which is anti-money laundering approved, before you can do any business with us. Now let's move into our income producing assets. I love this part. So gold and silver is our preservation. It's wealth preservation. It's a store of value. We understand that now. And now we're going to move into areas to assets, and this is going to be an area that we're going to keep expanding on over time. They're going to be actually able to income produce for you. Here's Philip Judge. This is the team that I've been involved with for many, many years now. Philip Judge I met in 2003, the banker. He introduced me to Ryan Messer, and because Philip was running the energy fund back at that particular time. So as a result of my meeting with Philip in 2003, I went to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Ryan's not from there, but he was visiting a site, a natural resource site. I met him there. We connected, very professional, very experienced team. Met the geologist, Jake, as well, and other people there. And as a result of that, I did a significant investment into an energy fund. And a couple of years later, I know other people on this call, including Claudia, also invested into that particular energy fund. And so here you have, with Utopian Global, this isn't just a team that's been pulled together the last weeks or last months. We have, since 2004 with Ryan Messer, I've been engaged with him in some pretty serious business, and he he's the CEO of STORH and managing the asset at Raccoon Bend. This is the only asset that we bought on the STORH at this particular time. We're looking at other ones this year, but of course the world changed, as we know, because of COVID, lockdown, no travel, so business plans change. But we have this particular asset. We settled on this on the 1st of August 2019. It's a fantastic asset, relatively low risk. When you're looking at investing, you also want to look at risk management. It's 5,600 acres, 156 wells, over 90 of them are producing. More will come on, some will come off. but it's an expanding asset, and you know, it's going to be producing for the next 25 years. And some of the members you can see here, they flew in to visit the asset, and in fact, we had a team in 2018, a team also in 2019. Last year flew in to visit the asset. That's just one of the wellheads that we were at that particular time. The other reason why it's a relatively low risk asset is the managers of this particular asset, Peter and Glenn, the engineer, and the geologist, they're part owners. They're equity holders in this particular asset, just like you are as a store owner. And they've been managing this asset since 2001. And when some equity come up to buy more into this particular asset only maybe a couple of months ago, owners, which is over 85%, which are industry insiders, decided to increase their asset ownership in this particular asset. So it's a fantastic asset managed by highly experienced people. And even regardless of what happened to the oil price in 2020, I should say, you know, it's been performing at a profit every particular month, which is actually fantastic. And all the revenues for the last 12 months, back to the last 15, 16 months, I got in to pay down the banknote. I'll address the banknote question in our questionnaire, Claudia. I'm not going to get into it right now, but I want to really address that question at the very end. I'll just keep going for this presentation as we speak right now. So finances and time. Well, to understand your, you know, we're all here to have a better quality of life. No question about it. You've turned up here to learn something. You want to get engaged in something. You're analyzing something, doing your due diligence. Is something that this can help you, give you more time to your life, give you a better lifestyle, maybe help you to improve your health, remove the stresses. It's all related to finances, isn't it? You know, most people wake up in the morning, think about the dreaded bills they've got to pay on the particular day, or this or that, whatever it might be. Finances is a key aspect in our life. Now, when I grew up on the dairy farm, we weren't allowed to talk about money at the kitchen table. It was bad manners, which is total nonsense. Here we are working hard, long hours, trading our time for something. We need to be able to talk about money. It's nothing wrong. We need to earn as much money as we can, respectfully. It's not about the love of money. It's what you can do with it. Money only does two things: gives us a comfortable life, gives us a much more comfortable life, and of course gives us freedom and gives us greater choices, and also to be able to help other people. It doesn't make you a better person by having more money in your pocket. So there's different ways we can actually earn our money. We can trade our time for money. That is, you can go to a job. You can trade 40 hours a week for 40 hours of income. Nothing wrong with that in principle, especially if you love what you're doing. When it comes to wealth creation, it's limiting because you put a cap on your income. You're only going to, if you're working 40 hours, you may do overtime and get paid to 50 or 60, means higher taxes as well, of course. But also, you know, you are limited in time. You become self-employed like I was in my hotels in the early days. And of course, you can also become a slave to that particular job, which is also, if you love running your business and you're doing well from it, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you really want to make wealth, I mean, exponential wealth to set yourself free, you've really got to make it when you're sleeping. And that's really becoming a business owner. And this is really what we're going to speak about on this next section of the Utopian Global presentation. I ran my hotels. At the same time, I was involved in an organization and business model that allowed me to earn income when I was sleeping. I was on the other side of the world. It did not matter. I didn't even know the people in the organization or business, but I was earning a very, very strong income from that. And these are the businesses that can truly set you free. But you've got to be ready. You've got to be ready to learn, and you've got to be able to persist. And if you do those things, you can certainly become independent. There's two ways that you can join with Utopian Global. Very simple. You can just become a customer. You can buy your gold and silver from as 25 euros per month. You can also buy into the STORH assets and the other products and services that we actually have. Or you can actually become an affiliate member where you also promote our products and services. You can buy them. You buy them at a better price because you're an affiliate member. But you also own a global business, which means gives you the ability that if you share and people buy products and services that like what we're doing, you can actually boost yourself a bit of an income. Okay, I've already touched on this. A customer, you can buy your gold and silver, hedge against inflation, as little as 25 euros per month. You can also buy and store the income producing assets, etc. But you can't earn distributions from the network. You can only earn it from the particular asset as in STORH. So what I love, this is what I was introduced to in 1991 in Melbourne, Australia. I was running my second hotel. A businessman introduced me to this business model. I loved it. To me, it was a no-brainer. Let me go through and share why I was so excited when I was introduced to this business concept all these years ago. Primarily, when companies promote products. Okay, I've got some nutritional tablets here. I take my multivitamins. I actually have probably 30 years, and it's from the company that I've been involved with since 1991. Can you believe I've been supporting this company, this biochemist? Actually, God bless him, he only passed away, I think about a month ago, but his son is now the president of the company. And I've been buying products, maybe $150, $200 a month of these people since all that time. So I'm what you call a good customer. But he can market this in a retail chemist shop, in retail health food shop, and it costs money, of course. Or he can do it through word of mouth. And this is how I was introduced to this particular business industry. I love the philosophy of this biochemist. I love the products that he actually produced. And if people use the products and they liked them, they'd share them. And when they shared them, and people bought products as too, I would earn a small commission. And as a result of that, I flew to London in 1998, met the owners of this particular company. It's a US company, and we got the rights to bring it into Europe, into Germany, I should say. And we built, over the next, let's say, 5 or 6 years, an organization of over 50,000 people who wanted each month to buy 2 nutritional products, wash the hair, makeups, and those types of things. So here I am having an organization, a huge team that they built. I was involved in it, but I won't say I did all the heavy lifting. I certainly one that introduced it to Germany. I'm earning a 6-figure income passively while I'm sleeping in Australia, running my hotels while there's huge organizations on the other side of the world. I knew the leaders and obviously the key people, but over 50,000 people, I knew less than 1% of them, a lot less than 1% of them. I was generating a big income. This is the power that we have here with Utopian Global. The difference, of course, is we're not talking about nutritional products, putting in the garage and storing it away. We're talking about real assets, gold and silver. Very big difference. Option 1 is to refer our products. 2 is to become an affiliate business owner. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, I want you to really think about and keep these processes so simple, because they are simple. Step 1, if you decide to take a step forward and change your life, we'll take the step forward. Don't just put the toe in the water. If you want to change your life, well, you have to decide to change your life, and that's going to require action. So if you step forward, step 1 is to buy yourself a package. Very simple. And I'll go through the packages. All of our packages are designed for anyone and everyone, no matter where they are in the world. And no one, absolutely no one, has to put themselves in any financial stress of what we offer our people here globally. Step 2 is then, once you've bought your package, is refer it. If you like what we have, you like the concept in our business model and the assets that we actually have, share it with people. And when they buy, you're going to start to set yourself free. Let me go through the first processes with you. Okay, the affiliate packages we actually have, that we have the premium packages, which are really the affiliate packages in one sense. They start from 99 euros up to 3,500 euros. So that it's really, so you can buy these multiple times, but you only have to buy once to become an affiliate. We also have what we call the larger quantum packs, which start from 9,000 euros up to the high 6 and 7 figures for the high-end investors. Okay, we're going to speak about the asset accumulation plan. Big power on this. This here can certainly set you free when it comes to, of course, generating a long-term residual income. And of course, you can earn from all your customer sales as well. People who go on gold and silver savings and different things, every time they buy, you're going to pick up a small commission there as well. But step 1 was you buy your package. So let's say you've selected a 390 package. You've invested 390 euros, you've got yourself a package, you have assets in that particular package. And then step 2 is you want to share it with 3 people. You share it with 3 people, you already have your money back. It cost you 390, you've already made 440 euros. You're already out of the woods, debt free. So anything that you've actually bought at this particular point is 100% paid for. Anything beyond that is all capital gain your way, which is really exciting. So this is a relatively low risk, and the packages start from 99 up to the high end, as I did explain. Okay, this is the quantum packs. They're from 9,000 right up to the 7 figures. And we also have fast track commissions for those as well. But for these packages, you cannot enroll 3 people. If you enroll 1 or 2 or 3, you're not going to have sufficient. If you bought 100,000 pack, enrolling 3 people is not going to get you 100,000 euros, correct? Because the commissions are much lower, much more money going towards the asset for these larger packages. So step 1 is you buy your affiliate package. Step 2 is you refer to 3 people, get your money back, especially on those packages from 99 euro up to 1,500 euro. 3 people, you got your money back. And step 3, this is where we're going to build a network. We're going to expand those 3 people that you've actually enrolled and got your money back. And we're going to build long-term residual income. This is what I did in Germany, in different parts of the world. In the early 90s, we built a huge organization. The key is who you're working with. Actually, the key is your own attitude, what you're representing, what you do on a daily basis, what you're standing for, not jumping around from one company to another company, that you are focused, you understand the principle, you work with 4 or 5 people, and you help them duplicate, you're going to generate strong cash flows. And building a network is really where the key is, and it's only 50 euros per month, and actually 40% of that is actually real assets. It's not pills that go down the drain or hair wash, whatever it might be. It's real tangible assets. There's 8 ways to earn on our asset accumulation plan. But before I get in and explain the asset accumulation plan, I really want to make the quick point how powerful compounding is. Because you know what? Most people don't get it. Up until this businessman explained this to me back in 1991, I didn't get it. I was heavily burdened with debt at the bank for my business. The bank was charging me compounding interest on my actual loan. So I was paying, and interest rates back then, as I said earlier, were very high. So I understood compounding interest from that perspective. But you flip it the other way, you can actually make compounding interest your friend by compounding time. When you compound time, when you leverage people, you actually leverage your income. Now, just doubling a cent a day starts off very slow. You take a cent, double it, the next day is 2 cents, goes to 4 cents, 8 cents. It seems very slow, and maybe day 8, $1.28 doesn't really change your life. Mathematically, it's very significant, of course. It's over 100 times, 128 times what you had, but it doesn't change your life. But by the time we get down to, of course, day 20, day 30, day 31, we're over $10 million. That is the power of compounding. Now, most people, they trade their life 40 to 50 hours a week for 40 years on a standard fixed rate income. I'm getting paid so many francs or so many dollars per hour. These are the number of hours I work over this amount of time. Even just $20 an hour, and the actual, for many people around the world, that's a high income. $20 an hour, 50 hours a week over 40 years is only $2 million. That's gross over 40 years. The first man who gets paid is the tax man. So 2/3 of that's gone. Mortgage, life, health insurance, whatever it might be. You cannot live a free life on such a system. You need to befriend compounding. You need to understand how to leverage your income. This is the key to set you free. So imagine all you did is this. You helped 3 people to get in, which we've already spoken about, but you taught them to do the same thing. You bought your package, you enrolled 3, you got your money back, you're debt free, nothing to lose, you got your money back. We want to teach them to do the same thing, very important. And because we pay multiple levels down, in fact, the principal payment's down to 7 levels, but as you qualify up higher ranks, we then pay you to unlimited levels, which I'll touch on a bit later on. But let's say you enrolled 3 and you help them duplicate all the way down to 7 levels, you'll be earning, over $8,000 per month. Pretty significant, isn't it? What did you do? You shared our assets in a program of 3 people. You showed them to enroll 3 people each, and over time, they each sow their seeds. Over time, you build, and of course, it grows out. It takes time, just like I did in Germany back in the 1990s. It works into a significant income, I can assure you, but it does take time. But if you're not sowing, you're not harvesting. If you're not sowing, you're not harvesting. So don't let these numbers of enrolling 3 people, 4 or 5 people, deceive you. These are game-changing numbers. If you duplicate, it's game-changing. So that's the power. That's the power of doing 3. But I'm going to show you the power by adding just 1 more. If you can sponsor 3 people and help them duplicate, well, you can add 1 more and make it 4. Well, let's look at the difference of what it's going to make. You've already sponsored your 3, got your money back. Now you're adding 1 extra, and it's only costing 50 euros per month. It's less than $2 a day, and 40% of that's real assets. Real assets, value, okay? By adding 1 extra person, instead of getting, of course, your 8,000 a month, as an example, you'd be on 54,000 a month. This is the power of compounding that most people don't understand. It is significant. Now, let's just say that you're only 10% successful. Only 10% successful. You're still making over 5,000 per month income extra. What are you doing? Well, you bought yourself a package, shared it with 3 people. Okay, it's costing you, you're investing 50 euros per month, less than a cup of coffee per day. 40% of that cup of coffee is real assets. It's not going to go down the toilet. 40% has real value. Rest is commissions. By duplicating that, you're actually building out a strong network and strong cash flow. This is the power of it. And if you can do 4, let's add 1 more. I love the number 5. Okay, 5 can set you free. And this is the power of 5. You know, you're getting up to crazy numbers. So even if you're only 10% successful there, you know, you're looking at $19,000, $20,000 per month income, even if you're only 10% successful. Because we know this is just mathematically, if you did this, this is exactly how you would get paid, 100%. But we don't live in a perfect world. Some people will sow, some people won't sow. Some people will sow 20 people, 30 people. Some people will sow 1 or 2. But either way, if you're sowing and you help them sow as well and duplicate, you're going to get paid. Now, I spoke about when we pay people to unlimited depth. I'm not going to go into how the whole compensation plan works, but as you can see here, it's very strong as it is. You roll 5 people on your front line, and you'd nearly have your money back already. I'm talking about the monthly accumulation plan of 50 euros per month. You already have your package covered because you enrolled the 3 people. But actually, this is covered too because you've enrolled another 2. And you've got fast track commissions there. But let's say if you duplicate to a second level, your 50 euros per month asset accumulation plan, you're already making, just on your second level, 4 times the cost of the program. Now, when the businessman showed me this in the 1990s, I just got it. It's a no-brainer. I got my friends together. I said, guys, this is what we're going to do. We all want to be healthy. We all play sports. We're going to buy some mineral supplements. We're going to buy, actually, in those days, it was 150 Australian dollars worth of supplements you had to buy. That would qualify you to get a bonus check. So I got 5 people, they got on the nutritional supplements. Each of them got 5 people, did the same deal. They bought other products as well. Here is, you be coming to me and say, Bill, I'm on this particular program. It's not nutritional supplements. You're going to get gold and silver. In your part of it is gold and silver every month in your asset accumulation program. It's going to cost you less than $2 per day. We're going to want you to enroll 5 of your good friends. And we're going to show them to do the same. And we're going to, all of us are going to actually increase our income. Our target is we all want an extra 5,000 per month income. That should be our target. Okay, but it starts with your 5 and it starts with the duplication. If you're not sowing, you're not harvesting. Okay, steps 1, 2, and 3, very, very, very important. And this works because I've done it. So step 1, select your package. Step 2, talk about it. Refer it to 3 people. Okay. It's a self-regulating system. If you don't like what we do, it'll be branded everywhere that we're this and we're that. Okay? I've been doing this a long, long, long time. People get paid, people get the gold shipped, and people sell it back. It all works beautifully. We've been doing it a long time. And step 3 is you must build your network. And with as little as 7 members anywhere in your first 2 levels on the asset accumulation plan, which is only 50 euros per month, you're already cash flow positive, which I already showed you in the previous slide. Now you're in business, but you're not in business by yourself. We have replicating websites, state-of-the-art back office. I mean, primarily your back office is like a gold-silver asset bank. We pay your commissions in there. You can liquidate your gold and silver in there. It's very, very liquid. We have world-class coaching programs, training calls, much of them led up by Claudia, which I'm really, she's been doing an awesome job with the executive team for many, many, many years. So you're in business here, but you're not by yourself. Excuse me. Let me take a drink of water here. I need to come up with some air. Oh, I've been talking a long time. Okay. So the time is, do you want to be a sower, or do you want to sit back and see other people sow and harvest? Because if you're not sowing, you're not going to change your life. That's just the reality of things. Okay. I grew up on a farm. If we weren't sowing, weren't working that farm, we had no bread and butter on the table. And that's how simple life is. You have to decide to change your life. You've got to become a sower with the right vehicle, with the right assets to generate the exponential compounding wealth or income that you can do with our particular platform. Now, the charts that I showed you here in the income returns are 100% spot on, and that's what you built. But of course, we can't guarantee everybody's performance. So that's a disclaimer, as you're well aware. We're not offering you financial advice, okay? But I'm a licensed precious metal trader. And what I've said about gold and silver being wealth preservation, absolutely correct. Our system's highly liquid as well. STORH's not available. STORH equity token is not available for the US market. And we also have a 14-day money-back guarantee. Man, now, isn't that amazing? This is on the package, only on the upgrade packages we're speaking about. You buy your package for the very first time. You don't like what we have. I don't care if it's a 99 euro package or a 250,000 euro package. If you don't like what we have, your money will be 100% of the money will be pushed back to you within the 14 days. But you have to make the decision within the 14 days. After that, the vault is sealed. Okay? You have to be responsible for your decisions in your life. And one of them is you've got to take a step forward here and become a sower. You have to learn what you're sowing and be responsible for that. Okay? So with that, the time is to get in now. Take control of your financial future today. And you'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. So true. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. So if you're sitting at Starbucks sucking on coffees each day, costing you 3 coffees, $3, $20 a particular day, one is a business a day when it comes to us, or you can become a sower. Work with a great team headed by Claudia and ourselves. We want to help you build prosperity and income and assets. So with that, Claudia, any questions that you do have?
Thank you, Bill, for doing the presentation today. Now, I have some people raising a hand, so I'm not sure if they want to ask a question or not, like Hans. Hello, Hans. You raised your hands. Now, you can type in. There's this little box there where you can type in your questions, and then we can read the question out.
Hans, he's raising his, do you say Hans or Hans or Hans?
Hans is raising his hand. Hand is German for hand.
Ich verstehe. Hello, Hans. Wie geht es dir? I was trying to be funny. Australian sense of humor.
We always have a little bit of a sense of humor going on here. So, yes. Okay. So let me just quickly here look at those questions which are coming in right now. Yes, so we are doing as well a lot of trainings. In fact, we had this morning a really, really great training. A few people are actually on board right now who were in the training. So raise your hand if you like the training this morning. We talked about that success loves speed. We talked about numbers. We talked about how to build your business in your first 30 days. So Dr. Evelyn is raising her hand. Great. That was amazing training. We're going to have lots of training. In fact, next week, I have an event for the team planned, which is starting on Thursday, 4 p.m. UK time. And it's going to go all throughout Saturday. So Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, full on training, because you know what? I want you to be successful. If you really want to change your life, well, you know, you will have all the education and all the tools you need. It's just, of course, then up on you, of course, to make that action. But yes, so there's lots of trainings happening. I mean, you just check out the back office, the Zooms. Always make sure when you check in your back office out your Zoom. So it's actually set VST time. That is British summer time. Currently, that means when it shows, let's say 10 a.m. in the back office, it's actually British summer time showing. So if you're in the US, you've got to then calculate, okay, the UK is 5 hours ahead from Eastern Standard Time, right? Just a little bit of a notice here. Let me just see here now. Sahir also raised a hand. He loved the training, and Sahir, great as well. I mean, you bring people on board all the time. Fantastic input, great leader. I mean, wow, what he has learned just the last few months is just absolutely mind blowing. We have Sam on the call as well. Sharonita is raising her hand. Sean is raising his hand. Absolutely, I know you liked the training, learned certainly some great stuff. Mohammed Yassin is also raising the hand. He also liked this training this morning. So you see, you really got to get onto those trainings, because you know, this is the key. We give you the education, we give you the tools, but then of course, you know, you got to of course act upon it. So with that, Bill, I don't see any other questions here coming in particular as of you asking something which they wasn't clear. So I don't see nothing here. I just see basically comments, likes, and stuff like that, but no other particular question at this moment of time. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Claudia, and thank you everyone for joining us on this particular call and allowing me to actually go through this particular presentation. It was good practice for me, but I just love the message and the concept what we have here, you know. And one thing I learned as a young man, and I've been doing it for many decades now, if you want to change your life, you've got to sow the right seeds. Therefore, you get the right harvest. If you're sowing the wrong seeds in your thoughts and ideas, and even in business and assets, you'll get this. You won't get the harvest. You'll get spoiled fruit. We don't want spoiled fruit. We want to be wealthy and free and healthy in the way that we live life. And you know, this year 2020 has been a great learning lesson. I mean, for all of us, I think when it comes to how we look at life, and most importantly, our income levels, our savings levels, our debt levels, our assets that we own, liquidity. These are really important subjects to be able to really think about, discuss, and have a plan. And we have a simple plan here for everyone that's super affordable and really low risk. So with that, Claudia, thank you so much. Everyone stay safe and well, and thank you for being here.
Yes, I was just going to, Bill, add very quickly on it. I mean, Brian, he's also on the call, Brian York from Norway, actually Australia, but he was putting up, I don't know if you mentioned it, I don't think so during the presentation. He put up a chart actually on Facebook, on Utopian Global, regarding unemployment rates. And I think we saw something like Greece, Spain here in Europe, seeing a 49% unemployment rate. We see many countries here in Europe, you know, in their 30% unemployment rate. So things are tough out there. So, you know, you got to have a plan B. So you got to do something. I mean, there's no question about it. Time is now really urging for you to do something outside the box, because you know, the plan, which as Bill of course mentioned, you have been shown, it just doesn't longer work. Thinking, you know, to of course work a whole life in a company. That company probably doesn't exist anymore. So I just wanted to add that, because it was really, really great what Brian put out there. We had another question. I think you're going to answer that privately. Dr. Evelyn had asked here a question. I don't know, Bill, if you see that in the question box.
Why don't you just ask me?
Yeah, I'm just, I have to find it myself again. Okay. Yeah, Bill.
I can see it now. Bill says he will say something about the bank loan. Okay, let me touch on that, Evelyn. Hi, Dr. Evelyn. It's a good question. It's regarding the STORH asset. There's a lot of people, we get the support, I get updates from support on a daily basis from people. A lot of people don't understand why the distributions from STORH are not being paid directly to the members of STORH owners right now, which I'm certainly one, and Claudia is certainly one. Brian York is certainly one, and his family as well, of course. Many people, Zahir, a great leader, Sean, of course, they're in the UK as well, and of course, Dr. Evelyn. So why aren't the distributions from STORH asset being paid to the members? Well, let me answer this very clearly. The asset was purchased on the 1st of August 2019. And from the asset, we actually purchased in total 12%. Now, 4% of that 12%, so a third of it, was financed by us, STORH members. The other 8% was financed by a bank loan. Now, hold that in your mind. Now, imagine this is the asset itself. And this here is the daily volume of barrels per day. So we own 4%, the bank owns 8% in that sense, and we're just paying the bank interest, of course, correct? As of a bank loan on the 1st of August 2019, which is valid for 1 year, expired on the 30th of July 2020, which is just gone past, which is fantastic because it means that we own shareholders, you and I own this amount. It means that the daily production is just shared between us and, of course, the bank. And as we pay down the banknote, less and less and less, it's giving us more equity here, isn't it? Now, the other thing that we could do is sell the whole 12% to shareholders. That means that you'd have to share just the same consumption, the same production every day with an extra 8% of people, shareholders, which dilutes our holding, correct? So as an investor, we're a little bit greedy in that sense. The board decided in 2019 that we will sell XYZ through STORH and we're going to bank finance the rest, which is okay. What happened in 2020 and the 30th of July, when we came to refinancing the banknote, the bank said, hey, the world has changed. Global economies have contracted. Oil prices went down. In fact, I think it was March or April this year, for the very first time in history, we've seen oil prices in negative. Mind you, we've made a profit. STORH's made a profit every particular month. So as a result of that, when it came to renew the banknote, it wasn't as attractive as it was in 2019. They gave us a horrible deal. A horrible deal. It's about the banks, they give you an umbrella when you take out the loan, but when it rains, they pull it back, they take it away from it. This is pretty much what's happened with us. It's okay. So primarily what that means is all the distributions, all the revenues from this particular production right now at Raccoon Bend are going to pay down to 8%. Now, in the end, the board decided to sell 5% of the asset. They raised about $1 million, a bit over $1 million, maybe 1.2 million, I think it was. So there's less than $1 million owing on the particular asset now, and that's still being financed by the particular banknote. But the banknote, the only way that they would refinance it is if 100% of the revenues has to go down to pay down the loan. Now the loan's being reduced quite well, but until that's reduced significantly more, no revenues will get paid out to our shareholders, such as me, such as you as a shareholder. So what does that mean for you? Well, it means as the banknote comes down, it just means that we're reducing the liquidation, or the dilution, I should say, of the asset into more shareholders, which is actually good for me. It's good for you. But a lot of people don't grasp that concept. Okay, and Ryan Messer, the CEO of STORH, I think he's given a couple of updates on the STORH site, explained this on one of our webcasts in July, it was, and also again in August when he had some of the other shareholders. This is how good this asset is. Some of the current shareholders said, you know what, pretty certain, because Ryan spoke to them, of course, about the financing deal this bank was trying. He wanted to get a good deal. He said, you know what, we'll take some of that ownership STORH from you, if you like, and we'll buy it ourselves. And that's what they did. So they did actually sell down a bit more of the STORH to pay down the banknote, but there's still some more there. But we don't want to sell that. We could sell that, but we don't want to, because we're going to dilute the asset even further, which we don't really want to. But it's a fantastic asset. I won't speak about the asset again, because I already have in this particular presentation. So that's the situation. You don't see the money going into your e-wallet right now because of that situation. But in one sense, what you're doing is you're land banking. You're actually increasing your equity ownership in the particular asset as the banknotes keep getting paid down. So I just hope you grasp that mental image of what I'm trying to say there. So I hope that answered the question for you, Dr. Evelyn.
Thank you, Bill.
The last thing too, I'd just like to say, and believe you me, I mean, I'm probably one of the major shareholders in the particular asset. I would love to see the cash flow coming out, because I'd like to be able to do some other things with it. But I understand the principle that we have here, and under this, really unique circumstances of 2020 that no one expected, we're being caught out a bit. But fortunately, we have a great asset. We have a great asset management team there. It's managing it well. It's in good hands, and it's a solid asset. It's going to be there for a long time. But it just means we have to be patient while that particular asset banknote gets paid down. But in the meanwhile, we're looking at other things as well. very seriously as we speak. In fact, I've got some meetings in Zurich at the end of this particular week, and we're working on some other projects as well. So there's some interesting things coming to the table now, which is great. I know Ryan's doing a lot of work in that area also. So that's it from me, Claudia. Thank you. I've not been over time.
Thank you, Bill. It was a great presentation, and thank you all your listeners for, of course, coming to the presentation. And please also encourage you, check out in the back office again your calendar. There, your little bell button, so that you come on the trainings. You come on because it's really great vibe with the team. They're talking. You can talk. You can ask questions. So it's a little bit different than on this webinar platform. So with that, I'm going to say thank you guys. And Dr. Evelyn said also many thanks here. So I guess it answered the question. And have all a good evening or morning, depending on where you're watching from. So thank you.